Pathmic is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmic qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add Pathmic to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work and get access to 50% more qualified leads, or you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathmic.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Harry Lang from Kwalee, VP of Marketing. How are you doing today, Harry?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thanks, Ernesto.
It's great to have you on. Excited to learn a little bit more about Kwalee. I mean, I'm sure some of the listeners may have not heard about Kwalee, but I'm sure they played some of the games. So, let's kick it off with that. Harry, in your own words, can you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, for sure. So Kwalee is a quite significant size UK headquartered games developer and publisher. We work across 4 verticals. So we make hyper-casual games, hybrid casual games, and then we publish PC console games for Xbox, PlayStation, and on PC. So across the board, we're involved in either the development or publishing of most types of games that your viewers might have played themselves over the last few years.
Definitely awesome to hear that. And so that way our listeners could get a good understanding of Kwalee, Harry. So then what would is there a main problem that Kwalee likes to go for? I mean, help clients?
Yeah, I mean, effectively, it's listed in our mission statement from our CEO. He's a gentleman called David Darling, who's kind of the godfather of UK games as the founder of Codemasters back in the day. And he says, as we list on our website, that our job is to make the most fun games for the world's players. Effectively, if we're making or publishing fun games, then people will play them. The commercial side, the sales success will follow. So effectively, our task is, on the one hand, to develop and publish the very best game content. So on the product marketing side, we need to make sure that we're making the best of the most fun games out there in whatever vertical we're operating in. And on the marketing side, our task is simple. We need to get those games in front of the eyeballs of as many people as possible and convert at the best rate possible, because we effectively deploy almost all of the marketing channels at availability. And in some instances, it's performance marketing driven. In other instances, it's brand driven. And we have to basically be at the forefront at all times. And I'd say the key tool for us is the fail fast mentality. You know, we need to avoid wastage at all costs. So we deploy thousands of different creatives every month, and identifying which ones are the hits, which ones are really going places, and investing heavily in those, and then identifying the ones which aren't working and pulling those off the networks. That's really the trick on mobile performance marketing. And on the other side of the fence, on PC console, it's almost entirely different. It's almost entirely about brand building in a very short space of time. We have game titles, indie titles for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. And in a 6-month to 1 year period, we need to turn them from unknowns into world famous properties. And they're fighting out against tens of thousands of other games on Steam, for example. And our job is to get those games at the top of the wishlist pile, and latterly at the top of the sales pile. And that's a mix of the great product to start with, but equally, it's a product of us getting really astute marketing tactics for each game, identifying the audiences, the markets, the geos, where that game will do best, and then investing very strongly into the channels that can get the most eyeballs to actually engage with it. It's a different day every day, but it keeps things exciting.
Definitely. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. So, I mean, there's 2 parts to Kwalee, right? To the B2C side, and then to potentially someone that wants to create. How is there a vertical? I mean, the question is there an ideal ICP for you guys?
So I'm not sure if I know ICP is an acronym, but I think I know what you're getting at. I mean, in terms of inbounds on the B2B side, I think the best example of that is a platform we recently launched called HitSeeker. So effectively, on the mobile publishing side, there's developers out there, small studios, individuals making games. We need to get in front of them and basically persuade them that we're the best place for them to publish their titles. And we created a platform called HitSeeker, which is effectively an all-in-one. It's a Swiss Army knife of a platform whereby they can update their game metrics and game data. They can use the website to learn from professional coaches, from our teams, about how to develop better games, how to market games better. And latterly, all their in-game metrics will be served via HitSeeker platform. And so effectively, we're building everything within the platform, from identification of game metrics through to CRM, through to lessons and videos about how to deliver better UA ads. So that's latterly become the most important facet of our relationship with our potential clients.
Definitely important. And so then how would somebody usually find out about Kwalee? Is there a top client acquisition channel for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, effectively, each vertical has a different set of channels that work best. So on the mobile game side, we rely on the SDKs, the big ad networks, Google, Minstrel, 100 ad networks like that, effectively advertising in other apps. And then we do lean on influencer marketing in the creator sphere. So we put ads and we do paid influencer activity. On the PC console side, I'd say probably 70 to 80% is influencer and creator based. The game creators, the game streamers. But obviously the top end of that scale, the ones who have, 10, 15, 20 million subscribers, it can get very expensive very quickly. And we found that there's a sweet spot, between micro influencers and MIDI influencers who engage and have an audience in the sphere of that particular game. And what's odd about games as opposed to other industries I've worked in is we make as much hay out of organic influencers and creators than we do out of paid, because they're searching for good content for their audience. And if they're a creator who has an audience who's looking for first-person shooter content, and we've got, one of our games, we've got RoboBeat coming out, a rhythm shooter in the middle of May, but it's hugely popular. And we get a number of creators who make video content for free because their audience loves it. They're getting, millions of views on their streams on TikTok, on YouTube. And it works for both of us. We feed them content, we give them exclusives, we give them keys to the game, and they're getting a huge audience reach and significant ad revenue. But we're very flexible. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes we might pay creators to do something similar. But I'd say on the PCC side, that's the most influential. But digital media is always there. It's always an important channel for us. PPC, digital display, etc. It's kind of bedrock. And then we have community, which is hugely significant in the game space on PC console. So Discord is largely where we exist, and we build a community for every single game. And that's fascinating because that's kind of your loyalists. They're the ones who find your game early. They love the game. And it's amazing to see the relationship, even as you're still developing the game or the studio is still developing. That community actually feeds back, play tests effectively, early versions and demos of the game. And you often see ideas or feedback coming from that community that directly influences the direction of the game. And I think communities love it because they have significant equity in a title before it even comes out. And we love it because we have a team of loyalists who are spreading the word about a title and helping us generate fame, which is ultimately what this is all about.
Definitely, that's super important. And that's where it grows, right? I believe having those communities is going to, potentialize the users of those games, and as well as for Kwalee. So that's awesome to hear from you guys that you guys are doing that. Well, as far as so that way our listeners could go ahead and visit you guys, you could always check them out at Kwalee.com. What role does a website play for client acquisition, Harry?
Our website, we refreshed last year, actually. We just done a brand refresh project, a new design style guide. So it was good timing to build a new website. And at Kwalee.com, the site has to wear many hats for many roles for different parts of the business. When we did the site, we did it mobile first, in line with obviously user behavior. It's responsibly designed. It was highly optimized for SEO straight off the bat as a core KPI. As a result, our SEMrush score has gone from 67 to 97. I think I need to give props to my website team who, in 4 months have turned that website from something that was underperforming into basically industry leading. We lean in it in all sorts of ways. We have a content strategy hinged around 6 different pillars of content to cover the entire organization, the needs of the different verticals. We do a huge amount of PR and social work. And effectively, what we do within the brand team is we deliver content in one piece and then we chop it up and syndicate it to fit different channels. So we might originate a piece of content or video for the blog on the website. We'll chop it up into snippets, use it on social channels and community channels, and then recycle it into a long form piece, which will optimize for SEO and embed in the site again. So everything has multiple uses, and we find the ROI that way is much easier to achieve. And we get a huge amount of organic traffic in. And I mentioned earlier on about the HitSeeker platform for mobile publishing. We get a lot of inbound traffic from people, who are game developers, and they've never heard of us. They live on the other side of the world, and they're looking for a publisher who's going to look after their baby and be a really good home for their game. And organically, they can search for best publisher mobile games, best publisher casual games, and they'll come to us pretty quickly. And then we'll forward them through the funnel in towards the HitSeeker platform. And from there, the publishing team can basically take care of them and handhold them through the whole process. So it really is a jack of all trades, our website. And it's something that I was really keen to invest both time and resources into. And it's a delight to see that site now up and running and fully fledged, because it effectively is this wonderful organic channel in its own right that's working 24/7 to meet our needs.
Definitely important. All right, great to share that, Harry. And on that note, then, I mean, you did mention a couple of strategies there, but is there then any tools or tips or methods that you would recommend to our listeners as far as to get that website lead generation?
I think SEO is probably the one I would always support back to. I think because it's a slow burning channel, you're at the behest of Google and, crawlability and searchability. The fact is, if you invest in SEO well, if you get your link building strategy right, if you invest in content marketing to the right degree, then ultimately it can be a net zero cost channel for you. And I think there are all sorts of ways to do that, feeding all the way through from social. And like I said, social content marketing, online PR, website, they're all part of the same ecosystem. So you can generate campaigns and snippets and video and blog posts and content reports and use them across the whole gamut. So ultimately, I'd encourage people, even at a very small scale, to look at ways that they can optimize their site better. Because, if you go down, some of the short tail keywords might be hard to achieve, but there are a hell of a lot of long tails out there with, 1,000 searches a month. And, if you're anything other than a giant multinational organization, you can capture a page one place on 1,000 searches key term or key phrase. That's money. And I really encourage people to go into the hyper granular level of investment in time to look at these niche opportunities and look at the abstract. When they're looking at keywords and phrases, don't just look at the obvious. Look at what people might be searching for to answer a problem. It might not be searching for your particular product or service. It might be trying to fix a problem your product or service solves. Go down that window. And I think, that's where AI is going to have a while to catch up, because you really need, brain power to think laterally, to find out some of these nuggets. And it really is nuggets. You find a pot of gold of a long tail keyword, which suddenly is sending you 5, 6, 7 qualified leads a month. And it's free, one video and 2 blog posts, and suddenly you've got this access point to legitimate leads coming in every single week. So yeah, for me, that remains a hugely exciting space.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us and for our listeners as well. It's going to help out. Thank you so much, Harry. And well, let's switch gears a little bit, Harry, and let's talk about you as a leader, you being the VP of marketing there from Kwalee. What are some key tasks you'd like to focus on your day-to-day work?
I think first thing first is the data. We're lucky we have a very good set of dashboards for the reporting across the various verticals. So the first thing I do in the morning is obviously check those. I see where the performance is overnight. I see where any glitches might be. I look at ad performance, if there's anything that stands out from the creatives we've done in the past day or week. Beyond there, it's obviously keeping in close touch with my direct reports, understanding I have basically weekly status meetings, but daily contact with all my direct reports, and significant contact with other VPs across the business, effectively as a service department, which I see marketing as being. I see as serving the needs of other verticals effectively. So understanding what's going on in their spheres, what's changed, and what is to move. But effectively, I see my role as a VP as being significant in 2 parts. One is staying ahead of the curve, having that capacity to have the long range vision to understand what problems might be coming next, what opportunities might be around the corner, trying to stay ahead of those, trying to prompt the team to look at these things further in advance. And the other thing is the people management side, is understanding the needs of the team. Are they focusing in the right directions? Are they motivated in the right way? Have they got the tools they need? Have they gone to the right degree of investigation to try and solve the problems? So I do spend quite a bit of my time just exploring how they're operating as a unit and how they're collaborating together. So I do like to be involved with the coalface. So there's a number of projects where I get my hands dirty, most commonly in running strategy workshops or tactical planning sessions. But I enjoy that a lot. And I find that's a very good way for me to understand clearly like what's about to come and what direction of travel we're taking. So yeah, it's a many and varied role, but one that I find hugely exciting.
Definitely important. All right, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And in between time, how do you stay up to date with all the marketing strategies, trends? Is there a preferred channel that you like to go with, Harry?
I've got numerous inbounds. You know, my inbox is fully loaded every morning with a number of games, blogs, forums, and media. So there's a lot of those, some of which I think I find more useful than others. It tends to be the ones that are better researched, the ones that go deep diving into gaming trends, marketing trends, etc. I find a lot of insight via LinkedIn. I think I'm quite active on LinkedIn, but I'm quite mercenary when it comes to who I actually follow. I tend to block out anyone who just posts fluff or sales spiel or anything like that. There's a lot of people out there who do post interesting insight, interesting content, and those are the ones I tend to actively seek out. And then beyond there, I sort of look up reports. There's a lot of free resources online, published reports about marketing trends, marketing tools, obviously AI. Your listeners are probably bored of listening to AI trends in marketing because there's so much guff spread about it. But the fact is, it is here to stay. It's incredibly useful and it improves every single week. The only way that my team and I can be in touch with that and utilizing it to its full extent is by learning what's new and fairly frequently testing it out. You don't really know if somebody has value until you kick the tires with it in real life. So we deploy a lot of the AI tools in our day-to-day business, and we see AI not as a threat to our roles. We see it as an augmentation. It's a way for us to do better work faster in higher volume. And across the entire Kwalee organization, we're all very encouraged to embrace these new technologies because they are inevitable to our working life, and they are ways to make us better at what we do.
All right, awesome, great, some great channels there for our listeners. Well, let's switch sections now a little bit, and let's go into our rapid fire question rounds. Harry, are you ready for them?
I think so. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, first off, then, what is the last book that you read?
I've got two on the go at the moment. I've got one on my Kindle and one hard copy. So the Kindle one I'm just finishing is called A Light Over Liskird, which is by Louis de Bernier. He's one of my favorite authors. So yeah, I'd encourage anyone to have a look at that. He's the one who did Captain Corelli's Mandolin. So he's got a wonderful writing style. And then the work side, the hard copy I'm reading is called Gaming for Good, by Jude Ower and Matthias Norvier. And it's a very good book about how games can actually be a force for good for society. I'm friends with one of the authors, and it's a very interesting take on using the popularity and the engagement of games as on a societal level to basically make the world a better place. I also encourage people to read that. It's a great subject matter.
Definitely. All right. Great read there for our listeners. Next then is, what is one single thing that Kwalee is focused on at the moment the most?
In my world, I think the launch of RoboBeats. It's our next PC console title, this rhythm shooter game. It's got a sole developer. It's quite incredible. This one guy has developed the entire game, and anyone who knows about game development knows that that's largely impossible. But he's done it. He's done an amazing job. The world seems to love it. We've got loads of traction, and now we're in the final stages of polishing the launch marketing strategy for the middle of May. So if anyone wants to have a look at that, it's got its own website. So search for RoboBeat, go on Discord, go on Steam, wishlist it. It's incredible. And you can add custom music. So you can basically fire weapons or your ping pong bat if you want to beat your enemy with a ping pong bat. You can do that in time to your own music, so you can customize your game experience, which is just awesome.
I think that's unique. I like that idea. So that's awesome to hear from that. Awesome. Then next is, if there would be no boundaries in technology, Harry, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
It's an easy one, this for me. So attribution on the Steam platform. So Steam is owned by the Valve Corporation. It's a great platform for buying games. It's a terrible platform for marketers. There's just zero attribution. It's a brick wall. So you send your campaign traffic there, and a game gets sold on the other side, and you've got no idea which channel that sale could be attributed to. For someone like me who's grown up in performance marketing and having, Google attribution and Facebook attribution, and where every cent is going and the value of the ROI, it's a nightmare when you have to make so many assumptions to judge the success of your campaign or the success of creative. So if I can have one thing fixed for the betterment of humankind in the games industry, it would be that.
Okay, great to hear that. Next is, if there's one repetitive task that you could automate, what would that be?
Good question. I think deleting spam email would probably be up there. I think I'm forced to have an open inbox. Like I said earlier, I have a lot of inbounds in terms of editorial and blogs and forums. But in my position, you tend to get a lot of people selling you stuff. So whether it's on LinkedIn or whether it's via email or any other channel, if I could press a button and everything irrelevant to me could be deleted in one go every morning, they would probably save me 10 to 20 minutes of time. So that'd be cool.
Definitely. I think everybody would be looking something like that for, right? I think everybody's always wondering how to go through their inbox. So definitely that would be really nice. And well, lastly, Harry, I do want to ask, because you have a lot of experience already, but what is that one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
It's a very good question, and I was thinking about this before I came on today. I actually wrote an article called "A Letter to My Younger Self" a few years ago, and it was effectively all the advice I'd give myself in my early agency years. And that advice, that article, I then turned into a book called "Brands, Bandwagons, and Bullshit," which is a guidebook for anyone wanting a career in marketing. And the whole book's really advice about what I wouldn't do again. But if I was to compress it into a nugget, I'd probably sort of summarize it by saying, do what you're good at, do what you enjoy, and don't follow the money. And because I definitely made some career decisions based on perceptions of profile, perceptions of job title, perceptions of how much money I thought I could earn in a new role. And I didn't put as much thought into what would make me happy or what I was good at or what I could enjoy and had the potential to thrive in the future. And I certainly ended up in a couple of jobs I shouldn't have gone into as a direct result of that. So just taking your own good advice, or even better, find a mentor figure you can bounce ideas off before you make those big steps. Because you'll find yourself on paths that are kind of irreversible after a while. And some good early decision making with some good objective thought, I will mitigate some pain later on.
Definitely. All right. Important. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's some great advice, right? I think when you're young, everybody looks for that, the title and the money. So I'm glad that you have that experience to let our listener to know as well. And Harry, we are coming to the end of the show here, but before we do end, I do want to give you the last word. If someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is that one thing they should remember about Kwalee?
I think they should really recall that we're a fantastic place to work. We publish and develop fantastic games. We have a number of jobs available, so come and look at our career page on the website. Keep your eyes peeled for RoboBeat. And after that, we have The Precinct. It's a GTA style game in the old school of GTA that comes out in the summer, and it's absolutely awesome. So look for RoboBeat, look for The Precinct, and let me know on LinkedIn what you think of our games.
Definitely awesome. Hey, well, Harry, thank you so much for being on today in today's episode here at Pathpoint Presents. And to our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm looking forward to our next episode at Pathpoint Presents. Thanks a lot, Harry.
Thank you very much, Aneste.